I saw a comment the other day that like when I sit on my couch and talk, it's boring. So I'm sitting at my kitchen table and there's probably a lot more to look at over here. So I'm sorry if it's boring, whatever. But I wanted to make a video about what I'm dealing with and what I'm going through. So if this is the first time you've ever seen my face and you clicked on this video because you're struggling or you feel like you might be, hi, my name is Lacey. I had a baby 8 months ago. I'm almost 8 months postpartum, and I have been struggling with postpartum depression. So I wanted to make a video because one of the things that helped me through all of this was watching TED Talks and videos of other people talking about what they were experiencing. And so I wanted to add a video to that because there weren't that many about what I'm experiencing. So, and what I'm going through and how I am now, because it's definitely been a long process of healing and everything. So I asked on Instagram for questions about postpartum depression or what is it called? PPD? That's like the short whatever for it. So yeah, let's get into these questions. They're in no particular order, and they're just whatever people asked me about it, because I know it's really not talked about a lot, and so I wanted to talk about it. The first question is, are you worried about what others might think about you having it? Yes. So I have talked a little bit about having postpartum depression. I think I've talked about it in like 2 videos, honestly, since the 8-month long, journey that I've been on. So if you don't know, after you have a baby, at about 6 weeks, you go back to your OB or gynecologist, and they kind of just give you a physical check on how you're doing, how you're healing, and they also ask you about like how you're doing mentally. So I went to my 6-week appointment, my 6-week checkup, and I was asked about my mental health, and I said that I was fine because I thought I was. So then I went to tell my mom how my appointment went, and she was like, oh, did you talk to the doctor about your postpartum depression? And I was like, girl, what postpartum depression? And she was like, Lacey, like, you have been crying and you can barely get out of bed because you're so sad and all this other stuff. So I had written off my depression as baby blues. That's something else that you hear in the postpartum community, is baby blues. So baby blues is right after you give birth. Your hormones are going up and down, trying to regulate like crazy, and so you are sad, you are blue. And that is not postpartum depression. Postpartum depression can be many things for many different people, and it can last for way longer. I've heard of stories about postpartum depression lasting for 2 years even, and longer than that. So once, like I said, I had written off how I was feeling as baby blues, and I was still in denial, and I didn't really want to talk about it with anybody or how I was feeling with anybody, because you hear stories of like postpartum psychosis, which is normal, and people getting their kids taken away and all of that stuff, and I did not want that. So I kept how I was feeling to myself, which is not healthy, and I was very much in denial. It wasn't about until 3 months postpartum that I was like, holy cow, I am not okay, and this is not baby blues. My hormones should have regulated by now, and that's not the case. I just kind of kept it really quiet. I didn't want to tell anybody. I feel like there's a stigma of bouncing back physically and mentally after you give a baby, and that's not what I was experiencing, and I just did not want anybody to know. What were my thoughts about postpartum depression before I gave birth? I feel like I can't put into words what postpartum depression is. And so before I gave birth, you read all the baby books. You are so prepared about what to do with your baby, and how long they have to sleep, and how many diaper changes they should have in a day so that they're eating enough, and how long they should breastfeed for, or how much formula they should get. You super prepare yourself for everything. And so along with that, I prepared myself for, postpartum depression. And some people get it and some people don't. So I wasn't even sure that I would get it. And how I felt about it before, I obviously felt for the moms who have had it. Nobody really in my life that I know of, I think, yeah, have had it super severe. I just don't think that's been talked about to me. So obviously I felt for the moms who have had it, but I didn't really know enough, and I didn't know how it felt firsthand. And I feel like you don't know about it. Like, you don't know how it feels unless you've experienced it firsthand. It's because it's so hard to put into words on how you feel. What was the hardest part about it? So I would definitely have to say, because this is one of like the things that people talk about with that goes with having it, is forgetting things. Like, and I'm not talking about where your keys are. I'm talking about like the early parts of your child's life, which is so sad to think about, like losing all those memories because your brain was in such a fog. I was worried about, you know, not having the memories of my daughter when she was really little, like a newborn. And so that's the part that I was most scared about when I finally realized, okay, yeah, I'm not okay. And so I would take all the pictures, all the videos I could. I'm so grateful that YouTube is my job, and it's my job to, you know, film those kinds of things because I have those videos to look back on. How has it affected your relationship with Eli? Eli, if you don't know, is my boyfriend and my baby's dad. I don't think it's affected our relationship in a negative way. I feel like it might have even brought us closer. It definitely is hard, and I don't know, Eli, if I'm speaking for you, but it's definitely hard to want to help somebody and not know how to help them and not know a way you can make it better. Because when you're in that state of mind, there's nothing anybody could say to you or do that will make it better. You know, like, it's not like you can like go on a shopping spree and that's like magically, okay, postpartum depression's gone, or somebody will be like, oh, you'll get through it, and suddenly I'm fine. That's not how it works. And so I can imagine how hard it would be to, you know, have to constantly see every day someone struggling and not being able to do anything. But Eli is a great listener. If there's anything he's a great listener. And so just even like me sitting there crying or like having a shoulder to lean on meant so much to me. And so, like I said, I don't think that really affected our relationship in a negative way. Do you think it did?
No, it didn't.
No. So, did you start developing PPD right away, or did it develop over time? I think it got worse over time. Around 3 months, like I said, is when I realized that I was really struggling, and probably up until like 5 or 6 months postpartum, that was like the worst time that it got, I feel like. But like I said, all that, like, it's hard remembering how I was feeling during those times. I just remember how I felt. I'm not sure the timeline, to be honest. It's kind of hazy. Did I have a history of depression before giving birth? No, I'd say I don't know. I had a really hard time in high school mentally. I wasn't ever diagnosed with depression. I never took anything for it. But I had a really hard time in high school. I feel like every teenager does. Every teenager goes through something. But in high school, I feel like I had more distractions. I, you know, really threw myself into sports, and I kind of didn't give myself time to think about how I was feeling or what I was, you know, going through at the time. So I think mental health matters, and everybody throughout their life is going to go through something mentally. But I don't know if that correlates with how I've been struggling now, with how I felt in high school. I don't know if those correlate or anything, because obviously how I feel now and how I felt in high school are very different. This question is, what made you go to a psychologist / psychiatrist? So first I want to say that therapy is a luxury, and that's just the, you know, world that we live in today, and that sucks. I wish that everybody could get the help that they need, and I did choose not to go to therapy for my postpartum depression, and looking back on it now, I feel like I could have. I'm a very stubborn person. That's me. That's who I am. And I'm very headstrong. Like, I go through things myself, and I just felt like months ago I felt like I didn't need to go see somebody, because I genuinely feel like nobody knows how this feels unless you've gone through it. And so I'm sure there are therapists that specialize in postpartum depression and stuff, but I just really wanted to go through it myself and get out of it myself. And I know that's not the case for everybody, and it is okay to ask for help, but that's just what I did personally. This question, how are you now? So healing is not linear. Like, it's not I wake up one day and I'm completely fine and I'm fine forever. I feel like there's good days and there's bad days, and most recently there has been way more good days than bad days, and I'm so proud to say that. I just feel like, and I said in a later video that I had felt like my sparkle was gone, and I've been doing YouTube for a really long time, and so I would look back on old videos and I would just see how I was and see like the light in my eyes, and that would make me even more sad, because I felt like the sparkle that I once had was gone and this big gray cloud was over me, and now I feel like the sun is mostly shining through that gray cloud. Yes, there are bad days, and that's okay. That's something that I've had to realize. But right now, I am proud to say that I am really, really good. This is the last question that I will answer. Did you push people away when you were struggling? That's what I did. So that's what that person said. So I would say I was the opposite. I wanted people around me. I wanted people near me, and I wanted to, you know, go out, and I wanted to experience fun. Like, I didn't want to stay inside and, you know, I don't know, watch TV all day. I wanted to go out for brunch. I wanted to go on walks. I wanted to go to my mom's house. I wanted to go to my in-laws, you know what I mean? I will say that you really, really, really know who is there for you while you're struggling. There have been lifelong friends that I have not necessarily lost, but am not close with anymore because of how they treated me, or not treated me, not reached out or whatever, while I was really, really struggling, which is sad, and but also in a way not my fault, you know? You can't beg people to be there for you. That's not how it works. Either they are gonna be or they're not, and that's okay. I think that's 1000% okay. I'm choosing now to only, you know, surround myself with the people that I know were there for me at my worst and are gonna be standing with me at my best. But yeah, that is all of the questions that I'm going to answer today. If you are struggling, I hope that you realize that you are not alone. I know that so many people are going to tell you that, and they're going to tell you that you're going to get over it, or are going to tell you to get over it. And I just want you to know that, you know, healing isn't linear. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work. Something that's helped me is journaling. If, you know, therapy isn't readily available, I recommend that, or going on walks, getting sunshine, even when you don't want to leave the house, even when you don't want to get out of bed. It will be worth it, I promise. And I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!